Hello, folks. Welcome back to my channel. This is the World of TV Shows, and today I'm going to be reviewing the fourth episode of the first season of Medium called Night of the Wolf. The episode originally aired on January 24th, 2005. It was directed by Artie Mendelberg and written by Glenn Gordon Caron and Renee Echeverria. In this episode, Allison has a very confusing dream at the beginning as she sees herself in what appears to be Little Red Riding Hood, the story, and she's basically wearing some kind of a red cloak and carrying this basket around. But then she ends up being chased by a wolf. And guess what? Wonders of wonders, she is at an airport. So she wakes up rather confused about the meaning of such a dream that she's having. And later on, as she's basically working at the district attorney's office and sharing this office with a sketch artist, she overhears a conversation a witness is having with the sketch artist in which she describes the death of her fiance who was murdered by some assailant, some attacker. And it comes to Allison's attention that she strongly believes that the witness is giving a wrong description to the sketch artist to go on with. And she's going to try to figure out why it is the case. Why would she lie about such an event taking place, and whether she's doing this deliberately or not. She's going to try to sway the witness and change her mind and not go on with this confession. And she's going to try that throughout the episode, trying to change the witness's mind about such an important thing. Meanwhile, at Bridget's school, Bridget is Allison's middle daughter. It sounds like she got her teacher's attention, as it seems that she doesn't have a lot of friends, and the teacher is rather worried about that and would want to basically bring it to the parents' attention, Allison and Joe, her husband, and try to, let them know about it. So basically, Allison becomes a little worried about that, and alongside her husband, they're going to try their level best to help Bridget make some friends by, calling some parents and trying and arrange some sleepovers and so on and so forth. But then later on, it appears that she finally made a friend, right? Who's named, Bobby. Now, obviously, there's a big twist about this near the end, and I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't watched it, but it's pretty big. And it's an important thing in the show, I would say. But yeah, this is basically how the episode goes. And I guess I said everything there is to say about it. So this is the fourth episode, Night of the Wolf. And that's another very good episode. I really liked the fact that it really has such a lot in common with the Little Red Riding Hood story. And even though it's very confusing for us viewers at the beginning, as we go on through the episode, we're going to understand the symbolism of such a dream, right? This is usually these confusing dreams that Allison gets in some episodes when we don't truly understand till the end. But this really ties up so well in the end, and everything makes perfect sense. So I thought this episode was definitely a very good episode with a big twist in this one, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. I thought, yes, the storyline, the characters, everything makes perfect sense. Everything is laid out so precisely, so well thought out. It's a so well thought out process that the screenwriters went through to make this episode make sense. I also like the fact that early on in the episode, there's a reference to the cold case files, as Allison is at the district attorney's office. They mentioned this. I thought that was pretty good, especially since I'm a fan of Cold Case, the TV show, which is another one. But nevertheless, I thought this was pretty good. I liked also the witness's story and the sketch artist, and the fact that Allison is gonna again make a discovery about this as you go on. That was pretty funny in my opinion. The witnesses thing, story, whatever you're gonna call it, right? So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I thought this episode is definitely a solid episode with a well thought out plot, and it really ties up near the end in a very smooth way. And even with the side story with Bridget, which is, I guess I wouldn't call it a side story. It's a big story within the episode. It also, there's also a good, how could I say, there's also closure in that regard near the end of the episode, and, all the worries and everything, there's going to be some kind of, end in that regard, right? But I don't want to spoil it, so I won't tell you what it is. But yeah, so let's look at the characters, the actors. So we have Anahai Bastilos, who plays the witness, who was pretty good in my opinion. She was obviously very frightened, and as she talks to the sketch artist, you can tell that she's really not feeling very well, very safe, especially after witnessing such a tragic, event taking place right in front of her eyes. The scene where you have basically the assailant is pretty scary as heck. I would say it really terrified me a little bit. I have to be honest with you, and I don't scare easily. Actually, I kind of do, but that's beyond the point. But yeah, that was pretty scary, especially the flashback where you have that. Then we have Brent. Actually, not the flashback, more like the scene, the whatever call it, the sequence where you get to see this, the recollection of events, whatever you wanna label it as. Then we have Brent Jennings, who played Wayne, the sketch artist. Again, really great actor. He did a pretty awesome job, in my opinion. Then we have Elizabeth Payne, who plays the teacher, who's obviously, very great as the teacher. And she sounds very genuinely worried about Bridget not making friends, which I thought was pretty nice, especially since, teachers are also human beings who care about, the well-being of their students, of the kids they teach and all that. Yeah, because she's at preschool, I believe, in this Bridget, or is it, yeah, I don't recall, kindergarten maybe, anyhow. But I thought that was pretty good, having a teacher like that who's worried about the well-being of her children that she's teaching. That was pretty good. Then we have other actors and characters, but yeah, really enjoyed Brent Jennings as Wayne, the sketch artist. I thought he was pretty good and very talented, right, in what he's doing in his line of work. The Witness also, I spoke about it, and yeah, so all the characters were pretty good, especially those three guest starring actors, and actually two actresses and one actor. I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, this was a pretty good episode, right? So if I were to rate if I were to rate this episode on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I would say it is a good episode. Maybe yes, not as great as the previous ones, but it was still a pretty good experience and a really nice, well thought plot. Well thought out plot, especially with the whole Little Red Riding Hood story at the beginning, and there's something in that regard too. I won't spoil it, but I like the symbolism between this and this tale, that this bedtime story that children like to usually hear as they grow up. I like that. I like that too, and also the scene at the airport, that was pretty intense, I would say, especially with the whole jumping at some point. But I won't tell you what it is, but that was a good episode. So yeah, excuse me, I apologize for that. But yeah, that was a pretty good episode. So if I were to rate this scale, I already did it. I'm sorry about this. I keep repeating myself sometimes. I don't do it on purpose. I just sometimes forget about what I said. But yeah, this episode deserves 7.5 out of 10. That was a pretty good episode. And again, this show keeps on giving. So if you happen to begin watching it, go on with it and enjoy the ride, because it gets better as you go on. And obviously there are some really great episodes along the way, but this one is definitely a solid 7.5 out of 10 because it really has a good plot and it definitely ties up so well at the ending, and it makes perfect sense, in regards to the main storyline with, Little Red Riding Hood. So yeah, that's it for this review. Thank you for having watched it, and hopefully I'll get to hear about your thoughts, on this show, on this episode in particular, perhaps, and let me know about what you thought about it. Okay, folks, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next review, God willing, for another episode review. And in the meantime, folks, stay safe, goodbye, and take care. This is the World of TV Show signing off.